Well, good morning, everyone. This is Louise Kellar with UEI Test Instruments, live from the 7th Annual HVAC School Symposium. I'm here to talk a little bit about some of the newest tools that we had coming out from UEI Test Instruments. If any of you have gotten a chance to watch any of my presentations, you might notice that I am very passionate about the dangers of carbon monoxide and doing combustion analysis. Staying in that vein that I like to talk about, we actually just introduced a brand new product just a couple of months ago that is called the UEI Clip. The UEI Clip is actually a set it and forget it type product that we came out with to help understand if you're walking into a dangerous situation. And it's easy. I like products that are easy. I don't necessarily want something that's going to be so overly complicated. So you just pull a little pull tab out of here. It activates. It's going to run through its entirety, which is about a 2-year lifespan. And it is you're just going to replace the product. But what this is designed to do is you clip it on your bag. You can wear it on one of your lanyards, something like that. And it's designed to go off anytime that you see over 20 parts per million in the ambient air. And you might be thinking to yourself, why would I want to do something that is at 20 parts per million? And that's really strategically placed because ASHRAE says you can have up to 9 parts per million in the ambient air. And first responders are going to evacuate out at 35 parts per million. So it's strategically placed so you're not having to deal with like a lot of like false alarms, but to also make sure that you have evacuated out before you've reached that danger zone. And there's been a lot of research. And by the way, the research that I'm talking about isn't necessarily new research. They've been doing research on the dangers of low-level carbon monoxide exposure for over 100 years now. In fact, I recently read a publication that was from 1922, 1923, that was all the gas record. And the gas record was talking about studying the effects of low-level carbon monoxide. And it's amazing when you really dig down into that, what those lower levels of carbon monoxide and how they can really leave people injured. And we know that carbon monoxide, it's colorless, it's tasteless, it's odorless. But in lower concentrations, it can lead to long-term injury. And those long-term injuries aren't necessarily as maybe clear-cut as you might think they are. Those long-term injuries can lead to things like people thinking they have the flu for 10 years. And it was actually undiagnosed low levels of carbon monoxide. Other people have been diagnosed with things such as traumatic brain injury. They can have what they call early onset Alzheimer's. It can make people lose their mobility. And while we know that we don't want to have any of our customers die, we also want to be conscientious that we aren't just leaving them to be injured in that long time. Because the studies that have shown that talk about the dangers of carbon monoxide at those lower levels, there's a lot of things that go on because carbon monoxide doesn't instantaneously leave your body. Carbon monoxide will build up in the bloodstream. And just because you aren't exposed to it doesn't mean that you are free of it, because it takes a long time for your body to be able to purge that. So I want to make sure that everybody kind of knows that at those levels, especially, maybe you're recommending to your customers that they have things like home CO alarms. And I'm a big fan of home CO alarms. I think everybody should have a home CO alarm. But they are really designed to prevent people from dying. They're not necessarily there to keep you from low levels of injury. So I want to make sure that everybody is taking the proper precautions, not only to protect the homeowners, our customers, our business owners, but really protecting ourselves. I think that is a hugely important part of what we do. I often cite a study that the UL Standards and Engagements did a couple of years ago, and it talks about 60% of homeowners think it's the HVAC contractor's responsibility to mitigate those risks of CO. So that's everybody out there watching right now and listening to this, is that homeowners are looking at you to mitigate those that risk within their homes. And I think it's really important also to make sure that when we're talking about correctly identifying that source of CO, because there are multitudes of sources of carbon monoxide within the home. And so just because you might be there on the call for the furnace, it could be a malfunctioning water heater. It could be a malfunctioning boiler. It could be the oven, a gas dryer. Maybe somebody has an alternate heat source within their house. And so when you see carbon monoxide in the ambient air, identifying that right heat source, you don't just want to assume it's something like your cracked heat exchanger. It may be, and there's a combustion test that you can do that will actually help you with that. So we really want to design products that are going to help keep homes safe and comfortable. And we are very grateful for all of you who are able to do that, no matter the situations going on. We do have some other things. That's my spiel on the dangers of carbon monoxide. We do have some other interesting products that have landed in the last year. So if you get a chance, check out our website. We actually recently came out with a clamp meter that is called the EPC. It's the Everyday Professional Clamp Meter. It's a meter that is designed to do all of the basic have all the basic features and functions that you need to do on a daily basis. And what's really nice about that particular meter is, while it's a clamp meter, it comes in a bag that actually has a zippered pouch on it. And it comes with all the accessories that you also need to do your job. So it's going to come with your test leads. It's going to come with the alligator clips. And even more importantly, it's going to come with those back probes for any of those mini split operations that you have. So it's an all-inclusive. You buy the meter and you don't have to buy all of those additional accessories. We also recently came out with a brand new Combustion Analyzer, our ACA, the Advanced Combustion Analyzer, and it has an upgraded screen on it and it also takes direct reads of your oxygen, your CO, and your CO2 for you. So no more calculated value. You're going to be able to do your draft pressure directly through the flue probe. So you don't have to have any additional attachments with that. And it also goes in line with what we call UEI Service Plus Guaranteed. So all of our analyzers have a version of UEI Service Plus Guaranteed, and it's based on just a couple of simple principles. We know that when you are out of your analyzer, that time is money. So we wanted to simplify this process for you. So one of the things that we did is that we have, every year that you have your analyzer recertified, we actually extend out that warranty for you. And while our traditional C160 series has had a 10-year cap on that, we have come out with the ACA that is now a limited lifetime, as far as there's no effective cap on that. So keep sending it in for the lifespan of that working life of that analyzer, and you're going to keep getting a warranty on it. And I mentioned, by the way, that we realize that time is money, and you may be thinking about what's the turnaround time on something. Well, the really neat part about that is the fact that we send it back out on the same day that we receive it. So our calibration and recertification facility is in Indianapolis, Indiana, and that's where I'm based out of. And Indianapolis, if it comes in on, say, a Wednesday morning, it actually goes back out on a Wednesday afternoon. The other thing about the program is that we give you the UPS label to ship it to us, and then we ship it back to you. So we try to be very transparent on all of our pricing. We don't like to surprise you at the end of your experience. So you'll go to our website, you'll fill out the form. It's very easy. We'll remind you when it's time to send it in too, so long as you've registered that instrument. But we really, again, we're trying to design products to make your life easier, because nobody wants more complication in their life. We also, the exciting thing that I'll be talking a lot more about is the fact that we have actually redesigned our app. So if you haven't gone, go download the UEI Hub app. The UEI Hub app has really become a more centralized ecoverse to all of our apps. So traditionally, it had only included our hub products, which are wireless refrigeration set that came with, it came with the pressure probes, because we know that hoses are, they're not obsolete yet, but we know that, there's a lot of push not to hook actual hoses up to a piece of equipment. So we came out with some wireless probes that eliminate that. And they have a really nice swivel on them and a pass-through port and everything like that for you. We came out with some really nice feeling pipe clamps. In addition, you have your supply and return with your hygrometer probes. And then depending on the kit you get, you could get a third outdoor temperature sensor and a wireless vacuum gauge. And those were kind of the staples of what our app was. But what we've done now is we've integrated our scales, we've integrated our airflow, we've been able to integrate our manometers in there. So electrical meters that are clamp meters that have wireless capability. So what we've really wanted to do is just make that a centralized UEI hub. So if you haven't checked it out, it's a free app. We're doing lots of cool things with it to make it even more user friendly. So get a chance, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, because that is what I have on my schedule. So check out ueitest.com. You can even give us a call at an 800 number, 1-800-547-5740. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks for joining.